If you are watching this video, whether you realize it or not, you are part of a pretty select group of people who take personal growth, financial management, and goal setting seriously. And I bet you are dedicated to it. How do I know? Well, let's just say the algorithm has a talent for bringing together like-minded folks, so I'm pretty confident you are one of the dedicated ones I'm talking about. And because you are, I feel it's crucial to share some insights on the financial pitfalls that can catch us off guard, especially in our 20s and 30s. Each decade of our life will bring its own set of unique financial challenges. That's inevitable, it's part of the journey. But why am I focusing on the 20s and 30s? Because they are a game changer. It's a time when the financial habits you are forming can really set the stage for the future. Think of it like being in a boat with a slow leak. If you don't address it now, you'll find yourself sinking over time, and fixing the boat will be way more complicated. But before we dive in, I realize I often forget to introduce myself. My name is Natasha Villalobos, and if you're new here, you're very welcome. We're all about getting your financial house in order, so if that sounds like your jam, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Diving right in, the one mistake you must avoid at all costs during your 20s and 30s is being reckless with your spending. And I say this because it is the root of many other mistakes. So what makes this period of our lives so special? We are essentially figuring out how to be adults, dealing with concepts like freedom and responsibility. It is during this time that we are moving out of our parents' house, covering our own expenses. Some of us are dealing with student loans and figuring out our career path, all while trying to enjoy our youth, like hanging out with friends, hitting the clubs, going on those last-minute trips, and so on. So in essence, we are moving from the student life or being under someone else's wing to standing on our own 2 feet and managing everything life throws our way. But here's the kicker, this transition is layered with complex behaviors we have got to navigate. The first one works in the following way. We are wired to be social creatures, influenced by what we see other people doing and believing. We tend to think that others know more than we do. We want what others want, we avoid what others avoid, and we imitate without even realizing it. This behavior of following the leader has been a lifesaver literally throughout human history. For example, our ancestors living in bands or tribes had a better survival chance when they followed each other. If one of them started running desperately, it was better not to linger and start running too, because maybe there could be a lion on their heels. This predisposition to imitate and stick with the crowd became part of our psychology, not just to keep us off the dinner menu, but also to help us fit in. If you want to be part of the tribe, then you better get on board with what they're doing, wearing, and believing. Fast forward to today, let's zoom in on what girls age 12 to 15 are currently doing on social media to use as an example. These teenagers share their must-have products on TikTok, and suddenly every other girl wants the same stuff to be in the cool and pretty club. And guess what? Right now, many beauty products are flying off the shelves because of them, and stores like Sephora are achieving record sales. Now, you might think that we grow out of this, but nope. Here comes the young adult establishing themselves in their professional career, seeing their colleagues spending more on high-end electronics, having closets full of clothes they barely wear, buying flashy cars, and having access to other indicators of a successful life. What's the tendency? The tendency is to want what they have or even outdo them, using their lifestyle as a benchmark. And this often leads to spending way beyond our means just to mirror these experiences. Here's another thing that leads us to be irresponsible with our finances: our lack of patience and the burning desire of instant gratification. Think about it. Why wait another couple of months to save up for that designer purse you have been eyeing when you could just swipe your credit card and buy it right now? Why wait to establish yourself at your job, pay off your debts, feel less burdened, and save more money when you could just empty your savings account for a down payment on a house? We are spending money today that we should be tucking away for tomorrow, splurging on things we can't really afford, and sacrificing our future financial security for stuff that, let's face it, isn't all that important. But why do we do it? It boils down to how we are wired. We place more value on immediate rewards than on those that come down the line, even when it's not the smartest decision. For instance, if you ask a group of people if they'd rather have $500 now or $600 in a couple of weeks, most will take the $500 on the spot because the future just doesn't have the same allure as the present. Yet, flip the script and ask if they would prefer $500 in 20 days or $600 in 35 days, and suddenly waiting for $600 doesn't seem that bad because without the temptation of immediate satisfaction, our brains can think more clearly about what actually is the better deal. And here's the thing, our drive for instant gratification is getting stronger thanks to the digital world we live in. Social media and online shopping platforms make it all too easy to get what we want with a click or a tap, feeding into our addiction for the here and now. We have become a society of the impatient, always seeking the quick fix. But listen up, here's the thing. Folks who manage to push against their natural urge for instant gratification, who question that live in the moment mindset, well, they are the ones who end up standing out. Why? Because they get a grip on discipline, patience, and thinking ahead, which are skills you absolutely need if you're aiming for big achievements. But let's be real, that's easier said than done. There's a sneaky little thing that's messing with our heads and makes it even more difficult, and it's called the self-serving bias. Ever felt like you just, are a bit more special than the rest? Like you can avoid the bullets that hit everyone else? That's it. We often trick ourselves into thinking that we are smarter, more honest, or that we have got this bulletproof plan for the future. And it leads us to believe that we can just spend freely, rack up debt, and somehow magically it will all work out because, hey, we are different, right? Oh, this spending spree, just a phase. I will buckle down when I need to and everything will be great. Watch out. I have talked a bit about why we might slip into reckless spending, but I believe it's these mental traps like thinking that we are the exception to every rule that really throw us off course. They blind us to the fact that maybe we need a hand to break out of this cycle. Some red flags that might suggest it's time to reassess and change your current approach are: you constantly catch yourself comparing your lifestyle to others and try to match it. You often make impulsive purchases and justify them as treats or rewards. You experience constant stress or anxiety about money but continue with the same financial behaviors. You are living from one paycheck to the next without room to breathe. You frequently use credit cards or loans for everyday expenses because you are stretched too thin. You make late payments on bills or get hit with overdraft fees more often than you would like to admit. You don't have a clear plan for your spending and you're just going with the flow. You have zero savings for emergencies or future goals. If any of this hits close to home, it's a sign to take a step back and rethink your approach to money. Changing course isn't easy. It's a journey that will require commitment, a solid plan, and a fresh mindset. But here are a couple of things that you can start doing. First off, you need to admit there is a problem. You have to recognize that you are in a financial mess and you are ready to tackle it. Because if you don't acknowledge the issue, you will never commit to any plan. Then you're going to move on to figuring out what's driving your spending sprees. Is it boredom? Is it emotions? peer pressure, or something else entirely. Recognizing these triggers not only helps avoid them, but also helps in finding healthier ways to cope. You should take some actionable steps like crafting a spending plan. The purpose of having a spending plan is to see where your money is going, pinpoint areas for improvement, and set clear goals. Which one of those goals should definitely be building an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This is your safety net to avoid falling back on credit card or loans when unexpected costs pop up. Another trick that could help you be more mindful of your spending is using cash instead of credit. Credit is great for those who have the discipline to pay it back in full every month without incurring interest. However, for those who are still working on getting there, it's wiser to put the credit card away and start paying with cash. When you are handing over money, you feel the impact of the purchase more intensely than swiping or tapping a card. And it's not just me saying this. There is research in psychology and behavioral economics that backs this up. In addition, for those non-essential purchases, give yourself a 24-hour cooling off period to think about it. Leave the item on the cart and try to forget about it, and this will help you decide whether you should finalize the purchase or not. At first, this whole process might seem more difficult than it is, and there will be moments of doubt. And that is perfectly normal. Changing ingrained habits doesn't happen overnight, so if you are struggling to manage it all and feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to seek support. Whether it is consulting a financial professional or simply letting your loved ones know about your new financial focus. Either way, it's okay to ask for help. Know that a significant change is the sum of small daily decisions. In other words, financial control isn't achieved through grand gestures, but through the consistent, thoughtful choices we make each day. I will end this video here. I hope it's been helpful. Thanks for watching and catch you next time. Bye.